lot of people have been asking about Parker because like we went down that road with Parker where we started noticing at a very young age she had anxiety. Whenever Parker was like little, that kid was glued to my side.
Daddy.
And honestly, it was so cute. And like she was just always right there. Yeah. And I would look down and she's just looking at me and just smiling.
This is More Than Reality podcast, where we dive into all things faith, family, and marriage and share that there is so much more than the reality that you see on the surface. Welcome to More Than Reality with Adam and Danielle Busby.
Welcome to More Than Reality podcast with Adam
and Danielle
Busby. And this is episode 39.
Nice. We're almost to my age.
There we go. We're getting up there. We're like middle-aged now in the podcast world.
Kids are home, summertime. You never know when they're going to be in or out.
Yeah, we're shooting this late into the evening. And so kids are just like, we just had to, right before we started, we had to like yell because they were like all yelling and screaming and playing upstairs.
They just came downstairs with their face masks on.
Oh, that's what they're doing?
They're 10. They need face masks.
Yeah. It's like skincare is a big deal to 10-year-olds, apparently.
Yeah, but you got to be cautious about what we actually are letting them put on their face because they don't need it.
Read the labels.
Yeah, they don't need it. And plus, it's just going to make their skin worse because it's just going to
deplete.
Yeah, their skin's not mature enough for a lot of those things that are included in the ingredients. And it's just going to make them either break out, dry out.
Yeah.
Which then is going to make them want to use more products.
Didn't it like trick your body into like thinking, oh, I don't need to produce this because it's already there.
Yeah, something like
already
that.
Present.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about trying to create clean teen.
Clean teen? I wonder if that's out there.
Clean teen.
Trademark that.
Clean teen. I mean, they're not teen. I mean, the Quints aren't teenagers. They're just preteens, but they don't really need anything but maybe some moisturizer on their face. And we live down in the South, and there's enough humidity down here.
No, my face is oily enough as it is.
Some are at sleepovers, some are at running around, some are sleeping already.
Really?
Yeah, Hazel's crashed out on the couch.
I went up there before dinner. I was right before I started cooking dinner, and one of them was asleep.
Yeah.
They were watching something on Disney Plus or something.
Yep.
One of them was crashed. Must be nice. Being 10 years old, not a care in the world, off for summer.
Yeah, besides, I can't wait to put my face mask on.
Oh, yeah. Let's work on our skin routine.
Well, Blake just got back from summer camp.
Yeah, that's right.
She went to church.
Blake was gone for like almost a week.
Yeah. So it's good to get her back, see her face, hug her. She had a great time, which is always weird to like drop your kid off and not.
Because they're not allowed to have cell phones while at camp. So they have to like, I don't know if they turn them in or they have to turn them off or whatever, and they're not allowed to use them until the end of the week. Oh, they just quote unquote not supposed to bring them.
Yeah, or they turn them in. I don't know, one or the other.
I remember whenever I led, if kids had cell phones, like they'd have to pass them up to us, and we'd put them in a bag and we'd hold on to them till the end of the week.
I don't know.
So
maybe they do that.
Happened.
Yeah, maybe the honest kids actually turn their phones in.
Yeah.
But yeah, she had a good time at camp, which was good. There was a lot of kids at this one, but she's come back. There was quite a few kids that came back with like strep throat and getting sick. So she's kind of did fine the next day, but now she's kind of under the weather. So here goes.
I feel like that's going around because there was somebody at the office that kept coughing and was complaining about a sore throat.
Yeah, it happens. Okay.
It's weird for like colds to come through during summer though.
Yeah.
It's usually like a winter thing. Take your vitamins, guys. I've been going hard on vitamin D3K2. And I felt the difference. Like I've
been taking that.
Just, like
I'm deficient in
energy. I've only been doing it. Like I took it for a while, but like it was just D3. And then I read something like, I don't know if like K2 is like a cofactor or something like that, or helps absorb it or something like that. But you need to get like D3K2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ordered D3K2 now. So now my just regular D3 bottles just sitting. I don't know if I should like take them both at the same time.
I've been taking D3,
as long as the K2's in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like I've felt a difference just in like energy levels and stuff like that over the course of the day. I feel like I sleep better.
Do you really need to sleep better?
I don't know. I did not sleep the other night. I know that. You like stayed up on your laptop.
I know. I was trying to finish
I feel like
things.
2:00 in the morning, and I kept. You may think I'm sleeping, but I'm awake and I'm like laying there, and then I'll get up and like turn over and.
I was trying to finish some
like,
house
what
things
the
I
heck
need to get
is she doing?
done on the computer, and I was like, I'm not going to bed until
and you
I'm
were
done.
Like, you weren't just like sitting back in
I
the
was
bed.
for a while, but then
Like,
my back started hurting, so I was stretching.
I woke up and I looked over at you, and you're like on your knees, sitting on your feet.
No,
look
I'm
like,
not. I was just
leaning forward with your computer at the foot of the bed.
My lower back out,
What
so I was
the heck is she doing?
leaning forward. I was almost done. I was like, oh, my back hurts from sitting like this, so I like just stretched forward to finish.
I finally like bit the bullet and like joined the team over at Good Ranchers. We like have a corporate membership at like Lifetime Fitness. And so like we provide that for all the employees and stuff. For the longest time, I've just been going to my other gym, pretty much like equidistant to like this Lifetime, maybe like 3 extra minutes to get to the Lifetime. So I've just been going to my other gym. I'm like, well, I'm going here. I'll just keep going here. But this morning, the night that I couldn't sleep, I was going to wake up and go there. I feel like I couldn't sleep because like you weren't asleep. And then I just didn't want to wake up. So I was like, well, dang it. I'll just try to go at lunchtime or something. So I ended up going at lunch. I decided like I was going to go ahead and just sign up and start going there because if we do end up moving further that direction, it'll be closer to that gym. So I was like, well, I might as well just start going anyway. Don't any gym with like a swimming pool, they all have that same smell that really, it's not even chlorine. It's like chlorine mixed with like a
sweat.
No, it's not even like a sweat smell, but it's just the same smell. I don't know if I think it may be like that smell of whatever they put in the steam saunas. It permeates through the entire, because I remember what it was like. It was like at that at South Shore Fitness. And the gym that I go to now doesn't have a swimming pool, and so you don't smell that there. But then started going to this new place, and it's just like, it just takes me back whenever I used to go to my old gym. They had a swimming pool and steam sauna.
I've only been there like once to that gym. It's nice.
So it just made me feel like I was 10 years ago. Like just you walk in, it's like that same smell, and it just like smells just like bring you back.
Yeah.
But today we have 2 sponsors for the podcast. Our first is Good Ranchers. It's a really good time to buy because it's summertime and you're going to be grilling a lot. And so right now, Good Ranchers is offering $40 off with our code BUZZBEE. So you can go to goodranchers.com. It's 100% American meat. Everything's born, raised, harvested, all in the U.S. Everything that's on the ingredient list is labeled on the package. And that's a very short ingredient list because it's only meat. No hormones, no antibiotics, none of that crap that they fill it with. So thank you, Good Ranchers, for sponsoring this episode.
Yep.
Goodranchers.com.
American meat delivered.
Yep.
To your door. Oh, I went to California. That's right.
Danielle did go to California too.
I went to the Live Action Women's Summit.
It was Live Action, like affiliated.
Yeah, it was their first women's summit. They did just women. And the gala's in September.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was good. It was a good little short.
Like Huntington Beach.
Yeah, it was a good little kind of 24-hour little trip there and back. But the weather was amazing.
Good Rancher sponsored that one too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you see my banner with all my photos?
What?
Yeah, we have like the big
tall banner?
Yeah. I took all those photos.
Okay, cool. Good job. I thought you were meaning
I think it's just fun to like see all the like the promotional stuff that we do. And it's like, oh yeah, I shot all that.
Well, I thought you were talking about the new one, the one that they put behind like the table because it was a cowgirl, because it was a girl.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, we tried to do like a whole one that's like more feminine, like women centric themed.
Like, hey now.
We have stuff that's like Good Ranchers. You think of like Good Ranchers, like men, like ranches, like riding horses, stuff like that. So we're like, it's a women's conference. Let's do some new stuff.
Yeah, it was
cute. It was all like red and
it was fun. So we
kind of look like Valentine's-y.
When we got to California, oh, let's go run to the TJ Maxwell. For those of you who know what that means, that joke or that funny story.
I couldn't tell you the last time I walked into TJ Maxx.
Hello, the one over there was amazing. It was so good.
It is cool to go to like places like
They have
Marshalls
good
and
brands
TJ Maxx
there.
and stuff. Whenever you like travel away and go to like a different city,
Yeah,
and see all the stuff that they have there that you don't have.
It was like a TJ Maxx Home Goods. It was like a combined.
Yeah.
So it was big, but it was good. And so we were going in there. She wanted to get like some like cactus and like some like things just to decorate
Put
the
on the
table
table.
with that we couldn't really like just carry on with us in the airplane. And so everyone had this idea to let's go work out in the morning to go on the beach, but no one had anything. I didn't even have tennis shoes. It was just one night. I had a dress for the night and then something to wear for the next day and then coming home, you know? And so we're like, oh, let's just get something here at Marshall. So we all got like something athletic or whatever.
Did y'all even work out?
No. And that's
didn't
the
think
fun
so.
part. That
I
is
did not
so
think
funny.
so.
That morning came around. We actually all went to bed early. Yeah. Yeah.
No kids.
Yeah. We all chose to sleep in. But it made a funny story. Like we all got this.
Y'all
You
got
know,
workout outfits,
and then
slept in.
to go walk on the beach. And it was so pretty and everything. But yeah, sleep probably always wins for me for sure.
100%.
Good time. Met some people, got to see some people that, you know, I've known and run into at some of these events and ran into a friend's cousin that just happened to be there. And I was like, oh, small world. It was a good event. Lots of amazing speakers. And I learned a lot. There's actually 2 doctors that I want to get on our podcast to share because I was amazed by a lot of things that they were talking about when it comes to like fertility and just like medical things when it comes to like infertility, things that I didn't know, especially it's something I wish I would have known prior to walking that season of life.
Or like whatever, they're like a lot of doctors will tell you this, but there are other options.
Right.
And
And
like,
that was a lot of it too, like telling you something
out of fear,
well,
kind of.
out of fear, but also out of
Just straight statistics and just
Yeah.
pure medical.
and you know, there's always other options to look into. And so I learned a lot. Lisa Revera's there. Like she's one of my favorite. She's just like powerhouse.
She is a strong woman.
Man, Lila was good. I mean, everybody who talked there. Riley Gaines was there. I didn't get to see her because they were running behind and we had to leave a little bit earlier. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of great speakers. There was like 14, I think. So learned a lot. Got to see a couple like insight, little visual things for the women's conference I'll do in October. So picked up a couple little tips here and there, some ideas, extra ideas. So that was, double whammy. Thank you, Cozy Earth, for sponsoring this podcast. And Cozy Earth's mission is to transform that 5 to 9. And that is what matters most of the day. So whether it's you're sleeping in their breathable, amazingly cozy bamboo sheets, or their soft everyday tee, which I love because guess what you can do with that everyday tee? You can wear it all day and then you can sleep in it all night. On your Cozy Earth sheets, you will be not getting out of bed. So, hey, hope it's the weekend for you. But you can get 40% off using code MORETHAN at CozyEarth.com. So thank you, Cozy Earth, for sponsoring this podcast, and sleep cooler, lounge lighter, and stay cozy. Use code MORETHAN at checkout for 40% off.
Cozy Earth, where sanctuary awaits. And now back to the episode. So I got a Connect card right here. How did your family celebrate birthdays and holidays growing up?
Like my birthday?
Yeah, just birthdays in general.
I think we were always family, cousins all around, aunts and uncles. If I look at like my birthday or my sister's birthday, we always had like that family thing. We didn't really
Where
have
all the family got together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kind of something we still do today, like with my sisters and stuff. When it's a family, any of us 16, we all find a day where we're celebrating and doing dinner and cake and stuff. So I love that, carrying on that like tradition with us. But
Did you ever have like a big like group of your friends over for like a sleepover?
No, I never had. I think for my sisters,
Or
their
just
birthday.
like a party
No,
with just friends?
I never had that growing up.
Really?
I never had like a birthday party. It was always just family.
See, mine was always.
But my birthday was 2 days before Christmas.
Mine was always, of course, your birthday never changes, but
Yours was always in the summer.
mine's always a summer birthday. It's crazy. Just happened to be every year. It was during the summer.
And mine happened to be 2 days before Christmas every year.
Oh, that's true. You get screwed.
No, I mean, as a kid, it was fun. I mean, but I didn't know anything different. But as I got older and you would go to like your friend's birthday and like, it's like all your friends there or whatever. I never had that. And I just assumed, cause it's right before Christmas. But I think my sister's birthday, they're twins. So they're in November and they would have like a couple friends over. I mean, they had like some sleepovers at a time, but, I never had like, I think Emily would like come over for like the family thing, but I never had just like friends over. So I think that's probably why I'm like love birthdays and like love to celebrate our kids.
But also your birthday is just like a weird time to have like.
Hey, but I'm thankful
over.
that's the day.
I know, but like I'm just talking about with like scheduling, getting friends over because it's like 2 days before Christmas. Holidays are jam packed. Your friends may be over at family or out of town and stuff like that. So it's probably, It was probably a lot more difficult just because.
Yeah, time wise,
time of year. Mine was June 10th. And so it's like right in the middle of summer, out of school. Growing up, we had this huge swimming pool.
I'm sorry, this was my card.
Oh, sorry. But every
I'm just kidding.
Every single year we had like I pretty much just had a big swim party.
Yeah.
And so I remember that like every year we'd always take like a big group photo on the diving board. How often do you see diving boards nowadays?
When we were looking at houses and Parker was with me, it was
You're
so
like
funny.
Outlawed or something
No,
because of
so
insurance.
Funny. This one house had beautiful backyard and the pool, and Parker's like, "Oh, look, Mom, they got a slide. And look, they got that thing over there like they have on Sandlot where they jump off of it."
Diving board?
I was like,
they don't even know what it's
called. I was like, and the realtor's like, "A diving board." I'm like, "Yeah, a diving board." But it was so funny that Parker, because we had just watched Sandlot like the day or two before, and she was like, when he jumps off into the water.
That's weird because I heard somebody talking about how diving boards or insurance will like
I think
jack
something
up your
changed
premiums
that,
or something like that. If you have a diving board, I feel like honestly,
we don't have a diving board, but we have rocks.
No, we have a daggum trampoline. I feel like that's more of an insurance liability than a diving board. Like at least you jump wrong, you're falling into water instead of. I mean, how many kids? How often you hear of a kid like breaking an arm or a leg on a trampoline?
Yeah, but nobody really does diving boards anymore. So I think it was old.
Like knock on wood. We haven't had an incident with a trampoline yet.
Yeah. All right, your question. Since you answered mine, I'm not going to answer this one. Just saying. Just setting the tone. Is there something you think you need to quit or give up?
Holding on to stuff. And I've been just now because like we're looking at organizing the house and stuff. Because like if you move, that's like the perfect time to like purge and just get rid of stuff that like you haven't used in forever. Even one day. I mean, that cabinet that's over there in the corner of my office, on the bottom of it. I mean, it's like full of like backup hard drives, like old archived hard drives and stuff. But
so what are you giving up?
It's cool stuff that like. It's hard to just like let it go because it's like, oh, this stuff's kind of usable or whatever. But I mean, honestly, like I just went through like the right side of it one day and I was like, screw it. I ended up filling like an entire, and it still seems full, but I filled up an entire one of those big outdoor trash bags. Just like, it's just time to like start letting go of stuff. Just like purging. It's like
videos and photos?
No.
Oh.
No, just like camera accessories. And,
oh, yeah.
I mean,
so you need to give up or stop holding.
I partner with like a lot of like camera brands and stuff like that. And so like, whenever something new comes out, like they'll send me like certain cameras or action cameras or or different types of, or 360 cameras and stuff. And like, I'll get stuff in and then, but it never fails. Like all the accessories for the previous models or whatever
don't fit for the new one.
Don't fit with the new one. And so it ends up, you get this just stockpile of all these accessories and batteries and mounts and like all this stuff that doesn't work with the new one. And so it's just like stuff just like stacks up. And it's not bad stuff, so you don't want to like throw it away.
So what's your overall you need to give up or let go of?
Just stuff.
Thank you. I just wanted to hear that. Adam, stuff.
And what sucks is like I have like some filing cabinet desk drawers. I need to bring one of them to a locksmith.
It's also like 5 junk drawers.
Like a freaking idiot, because I never lock them. I mean,
then how's it locked?
I don't know. Like the bottom one, it's not locked, but the top drawer,
it's like jammed or something,
is locked. And like I've tried to fiddle with it so many times. I even looked on YouTube trying to figure out how to pick a lock. I'm gonna have to bring it to a locksmith just so I can like pull it out. It's just like full of charging cables and charging bricks and
stuff.
But it's like my pins and like certain things. Like every now and then, I'm like, oh crap, that's in the top drawer, and like now I can't get into it. But stuff like that annoys me, and I don't know. But the key is inside of it. You can't lock it without the key, but it's in the drawer, and so I don't know how it locked on itself, but it's locked, and I can't get into it. But I can open the big one. I can open the bottom one, but that annoys me. Grinds my gears. So today we're going to talk about. We've been getting a lot of questions as we've like done different episodes and stuff, and like we did an episode like talking about like my journey with like anxiety, depression, stuff like that. But a lot of people, just because it was a big storyline on our TV show Outdaughtered, a lot of people have been asking about Parker, because like we went down that road with Parker where we started noticing at a very young age she had anxiety. And so, we did some things on the show to kind of highlight what we were doing to seek help, what we were doing to like work with her and stuff. On TV, you see a very small snippet of everything that we were doing. It was just very like high level, like showing that like we were going down this road of like seeking help, speaking with people, bringing her places and stuff, and what we were trying to do to like kind of get her to come out of her shell, break those walls down and boundaries down, because people have seen her lately and they're like, wow. All right, so we're going to take a little break for one of our sponsors, which is Good Ranchers. Did you know that 85% of the grass-fed beef sold in America is imported from overseas?
Yep, that's a lot.
And Good Ranchers fixes that problem by being 100% American farmed and raised, all from local farms and ranches. You can go to goodranchers.com and get 100% American meat delivered straight to your door. It's free from hidden additives, no hormones, no antibiotics, nothing. All of the ingredients that you see on the package is what's listed, which is 100% meat.
It's almost like you're shocking me, but that's what it should be.
Exactly. But whenever you go through the grocery aisle, a lot of stuff that even has like a USDA label on it, more than likely it's coming from overseas. Good Ranchers fights against that. And if you go to goodranchers.com, you can enter the code BUZBY for $40 off plus free meat for life.
Yep. And it's summertime, so we're in full swing of summer, and there's nothing better than some good meat around the pool with your family and friends. And whether it's burgers or hot dogs or steaks or chicken nuggets.
I know, I just got a notification. We got a new Good Ranchers box coming in the mail, and I put some extra stuff for the grill.
Yeah.
For summertime.
So be sure to check out goodranchers.com and use code BUZBY at checkout.
All right. Thank you, Good Ranchers. American meat delivered.
I mean, I even am like, can't believe this used to be my most anxious child who needed that some form of security all the time.
I remember
to do anything.
I remember whenever we went on that 2 or 3 year hiatus on the show, and we like stepped away for a little bit, and whenever the crew came back,
yeah, they were blown away by
they were
Parker.
like, "Ooh, is this the same kid?"
Yeah.
Because a big part of it is just Parker. I mean, we should probably talk about that later, though. But I mean, a big part of like her coming out of her shell is just her being comfortable in her own skin.
Well, I think,
and realizing just how good she is at stuff, and and that gave her a lot of confidence. And
but I think, how do you get there?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said maybe we should talk about this. Like,
I mean, there's
a little bit later.
There's things and steps that we did, but since you've brought that up already, I think how to make her feel comfortable and confident in who she is a lot of encouragement, a lot of parent encouragement, and you can do this. Let's try it. And it's baby steps. Even though it's at times, it might not be something she wants to do, but we know it's something that could help her.
Yeah.
And we could tell she wants to do it, but the anxiousness holds her back. So you really just have to be present with that child to really understand, are they really scared? Do they not like it? What is their reactions to things?
Yeah, she would have like triggers. I remember whenever Parker was like little, that kid was glued to my side.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point where like a lot of people would complain. They're like, you always just take photos of Parker. Yeah, because I have a camera.
Daddy.
And honestly, it's so cute. And like she was just always right there.
Yeah.
And I would look down and she's just looking at me and just smiling. Naturally, I would just like have a bunch of really cute photos. And because Parker literally, whenever she was so little, anytime I'm in the room, like she's locked on me and she's like just looking dead at me, just smiling. So naturally, you just take a lot of those photos just because they were just cute little moments with her.
But I think early on, signs and things that we saw were things like you can't compare your kids, right? But when you have quintuplets, you see a range of different emotions and feelings and things all day, every day. Yes, you can see that when you've got maybe you have 6 different aged kids, you can see that too. But when you have 5 of them the same age, you really see a change of differences that aren't necessarily bad or good. Just that personality is different than that one, or she doesn't like the flavor of that than that one, so you learn your child. And so I think obviously being present and aware, which therefore means you're having to be involved with your child, which I think is number 1, is being aware of who your child is. What is it that they like? And having notions of, man, that is something that we can tell really bothers her. Or when we're around XYZ, she gets uncomfortable. She would spontaneously like throw up at times, like a lot of the time.
Or if she would get a little anxious, or like you're in a room with a lot of people, she would put her hands over her ears a lot.
Well, that was when we found out then she had all the ear.
But that became like a nervous
like tick or a nervous habit. But then we found out that she needed to get tubes in her ears, which that helped. But she still that was something that she could like motion to, that we could tell. But she would just like randomly like throw up. And so we were like, man, I wonder, like, she's overwhelmed with something, and something's bothering her. And so she would just get like, and I would say like a lot of kids and a lot of babies can get attached really easily, like to their parents, which is normal. But because it was something we noticed differently than the others.
That just goes to show like, people talk about nature versus nurture, but whenever you have quintuplets, a lot of things are very present and evident because you have 5 babies that were born within 4 minutes. And so you can see differences in personality, appearance. You can see all those things, because you have 5 kids that were born like at the same time. And so, and for ours, I feel like our kids were like on the complete spectrum of super outgoing to super
anxious.
But then, you have one that's like the goofball and wants to make people laugh. One that's like a drama queen, one that's super sweet, like every single thing.
It's like
part
every
of the
scenario
spectrum.
you're faced in,
Like it filled those.
You get those different,
but you weren't really
emotions and
parenting.
expressions.
You weren't really parenting them any differently.
Yeah.
But you see
they're molded
the
differently.
difference of one, because people are just, and that's exactly
That's
it.
the way
People
to
are
show you
molded
that
differently.
God has created each one of us uniquely in our own image,
Yeah.
So, so I think we really just start to see like there were normal things that I think toddlers and, babies and stuff do, because we did have Blake before, but Blake was a very independent, like could talk to anybody kind of a child. But, we started to see things that it really would hold her back from even as a toddler.
Yeah.
So we really, being on a level of like knowing that our kids from very beginning, something that I never saw as a crutch, I always thought as a positive. Like, how can I be on top of something? How can I what information can I get before something states or starts so that I can like better help? So an example, meaning I have quintuplets. I know that they're going to be behind in some way or not, especially when it came to like motor skills and like learning how to, like feed and all different.
Because they were very premature.
Yeah. So because they were born at 28 weeks and 2 days, it took them a while to like adapt and catch up to like where they need it to be. And they usually say by the age of 2 to 3, like they can kind of be back on like their level grade, I guess you could say. So I always sought OT and like physical therapy and OT to like really just be like, hey, come give me some advice. Come help me learn. What does this mean? Come help, like staying on top of those things, which I think is very beneficial. It's not something that you need to look at and say like, oh, I have to do this for my child. No, you're doing this for your child as a help for yourself, but a help for you.
Yeah.
Because, being a parent, trying to raise 6 daughters and quintuplets in the mix, it's like they're all different. And so nothing's going to be the same. As much as you try to do things as the same, it's going to be received and have to be done a little bit different,
Because even like taking your like kid to therapy or like an OT or something like that, a lot of that, having a child, most of that is more for you.
Yeah. So we took a lot out of that.
Equip.
And I think more than anything, we did go through OT with her and did like this, like kind of like session to really just see like, what does she have any struggles with any of her senses? Does she have sensory issues with any of the 5 senses? So we did, and it really, to her, it was just playtime.
Yeah.
So we did different activities to really see if she was, however they were assessing those things. And she passed all of those. So we knew that there was nothing sensory that she was struggling with, causing these kind of like anxious times or, anxious scenarios.
Yeah.
So with that going forward, what we said to the OT was like, listen, she's one of 5 babies at home. What are things that we can do? Because I'm not there just for her. We're also there as a parent saying like, what are tools that we can use? So asking questions and looking for if your child, goes through those phases and they are not, quote unquote, approved for any type of assistance or help in some way, ask for yourself. Like, okay, well, if I can't, by doctor prescription, quote unquote, get XYZ, what can you tell me to do as a parent? How can I help her in these situations? What are tools that you can give me as a parent to do or say or whatever? And so I would say more than anything at that age, though she passed those sensory things, like what we took back from those were just things that they told us as parents. I think we had like 2 or 3 sessions where it was like, just help us learn how to like do this. What is it that we can do differently, especially in a scenario with 5 babies where you are spread out across having to, take care of, and, in the transition of like getting from X to Y to Z, it's a lot. So how do we better help her in this situation. A lot of those tools were to be vocal. So make sure that you are, even if they can't verbalize it back to you, just tell them, give them a heads up. You know, Parker didn't like change, or she didn't like a new thing scenario. So like
we would prepare her.
We would just tell her like, okay, well, tomorrow we're going to go to the zoo. She loves the zoo. She wants to go to the zoo, but sometimes she has a hard time getting out at the zoo, and like that change of like, it's a new scenery and stuff. So prepping her the day before and saying like, you know, what to expect tomorrow. And of course we would tell all the kids, but we're really doing it for her. Like, are you excited? We're going to go to what animal do you want to see tomorrow? So kind of getting her head already thinking about the zoo. And what that meant for the other girls was possibly asking question over question over question. But for Parker, it was her absorbing that I'm going to be placed in a different atmosphere, and we're helping her be accustomed to that's going to happen.
It's like a pre-acclimating her to the situation.
And so then, you know, then it's breakfast time. It's like, hey, you know, we're eating at breakfast, and like, then you're just re-engaging.
That was a big part of it. It was just like, how do we implement that into every facet of her life? Whether it's going somewhere to eat, going to a new place, trying a new food, you know, going to a new person's house, stuff like that. And you're just like working with her. We were doing it in a setting, like, just like you said, where you're kind of doing it for all the kids, but primarily it was for the purpose of preparing Parker ahead of time so that she is already mentally prepared going into something new.
Yeah. And then as they get older and can verbalize and communicate, it's really teaching them that she has a voice, even from a young age, you know, because we've got some that don't shut up. And then we've got one at the time that was just super quiet and wouldn't speak up. Not saying that was a bad thing or a good thing or whatever, but for us, we could tell there was something different in that scenario for her. And so, you know, one of the tips that the OT gave us was, listen, when you go to Chick-fil-A, or when you go out to eat somewhere and they want to ask you like, what do y'all want to drink? And everybody, instead of mom saying, hey, just get 6 waters, let her say like, okay, Parker, what would you like to drink? And let her tell the person something small, just something super small like that helped Parker be able to talk, to be able to say like, what is it that I want? And how do I tell a hostess, or how do I tell the waitress or the waiter, you know, instead of someone doing it for her? Something so small like that really helped her be able to learn to, and it's not a big ordeal. It's just sometimes if we asked her first, we learned we don't ask her first. I would say like, hey, Adam, what do you want to drink? Blake, what do you want to drink? And we go around the table. Okay, Parker, it's your turn. What would you like to drink? To show her that it's okay. We're all doing this. Your sisters can vocalize what they want, and you too. So, and then it's a lot of praise. Good job.
Yeah.
Proud of you for speaking up. I'm proud of you for telling them what you like, what you want, like, and super small things. I mean, we were doing this at like 4 years old, preparing, verbalizing like what you're doing, trying to bring in small scenarios where you're asking them. And sometimes, in a sense, you have to use your parenting common sense to say, okay, we're going to the park and I want her to wear tennis shoes, but let's see if we can get her to decide what shoe to wear. So I'm going to give her a shoe and a sandal. We already know that we want her to wear the tennis shoe, but I'm going to ask her, like, I'm going to let her speak up for herself and let her hear, as well as, and I'm going to do it with everybody in the house. And, you know, I'm going to ask her like, okay, Parker, what shoes do you want to wear to the zoo? And if she picks a sandal, I have to not say, no, that's not the right shoe. You have to say like, do you think your toes are going to get dirty? Or maybe something will step on it or you'll scratch it. Do you think we should wear the tennis shoe? Trying to say things in a way to get her to say, that's a good idea. Yes, let me pick the tennis shoes. So using that verbiage to make it their idea so that she's learning like how to make a decision and how to say that's the better decision.
Yeah.
Just really just those three simple things. Then as she's getting older, you're seeing her get more comfortable in those scenarios. And then you go, and if you're in line at, the restaurant, you're going to order some food, she'll get more comfortable and just going to, I want a number 4, with a water or like whatever. Like you gradually will start to see little improvements over time. And so you have to too also be aware of, good job, Parker. I'm proud of you for ordering your meal for you, And a lot of times too, guys, don't get me wrong. It's not like I do like every single time, but a lot of times when we need those moments, because sometimes I'm like, okay, give me one thing for all of them, give me this big thing and I'm going to give me this 30-piece nugget. I'm going to share across all of them. So I'm not letting them all order every single time because that might be more expensive, but there's different windows of whenever we're constantly still preparing and telling them, even to this day, we still use those tools a lot to that. So,
yeah. One other resource, and this is not like an ad or a sponsor or anything like that. It's just some really good friends of ours, husband and wife, Joshua and Christy Straub. They're both psychologists. They have a lot of books out. They have a podcast called Famous at Home, which we've mentioned them before. They've even helped us, Danielle and I, personally through like difficult times in relationship and trying to work through different things. They're just awesome, like the most solid people you could ever come across. But they have this series of books. There's 2 of them right here. It's and I pulled up my iPad just to pull them out. There's one that's called What Am I Feeling? And there's a whole like feelings chart that's in the back of the book that you can pull out just to get your kid like articulating what they're feeling in that moment and stuff, where they're either lashing out or withdrawing or stuff like that. And it's a chart that they can like point to and stuff if they can't, verbalize what they're feeling with what they're feeling at the time. And it just allows that open dialogue of just working through, whatever they may be struggling with at the time. And there's another book, it's called What Do I Do with Worry? And these are like children's books that you can sit at bedtime and just like read through. And it just helps the kid process like feelings and how to work through that, whether it's worry or anxiety or anger or anything like that. These are great books to pick up. Yeah. If you're, you're a parent of a younger child that's like just struggling with emotions and stuff. I recommended it to a good friend of mine just here recently. She was like struggling with, her daughter just kind of lashing out. And I'm like, hey, and I recommended the books. And she actually reached out to me on Monday this week. And she's like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I ordered those books that you were telling me about. And we've been going through it with our daughter. They have worked tremendously. And she was just like almost to the point where like she wanted to start crying. She's like, these have helped so much. Yeah. And so if you're a parent of a younger child, like 100%, I totally recommend it. Yeah. They're solid people, good messaging. It's not going to, push any kind of crazy ideology or anything on you. It's just great just to get your kids to open up about their feelings.
I also think some kids who can't, possibly verbalize it or really know how to like say what they're feeling or know what they're feeling or what they really even like. So when it came to, trying to get the kids like involved in sports or extracurricular things, it's kind of like, try these. We tried a couple different we tried gymnastics. And it would be hard for Parker to like go in there, even though she loved it so much, but it was hard. And then we tried dance, and that just like filled her joy without her even really realizing it. She got to get dressed up in a tutu and the pink, and that's not for every kid. Yeah. But I will tell you that was a life-changing moment for seeing Parker find something. And honestly, I hate that she's not in dance anymore. She likes the other sports too, but she's very good at a lot of things. But when she got into dance and was in dance for a while, that really opened up her confidence of, I really like this. I want to do it. and I enjoy how it makes me feel when I'm doing it. Therefore made her do it again, which kept, and then you have parents on the other side, us saying, you know, we're so proud of you for going out there today. Like those encouraging reinforcement words are so powerful at a young age. I mean, the rest of their life, it is always telling them you're proud of them.
And just be careful to like draw that line of like not focusing on performance, focusing on just like how it makes you feel. And did you enjoy it? Did you like it? And just giving them that positive reinforcement through it.
Yeah, because it's not about
not necessarily making it about how good she was doing it.
It's that I'm so proud
whether
that
good
you
or
did
bad.
that. I'm so proud that you got out there, even if you fell. You know, I remember one time she fell down, which this is ironic because this is what her book is about.
Really?
Yeah. She fell down and she was so worked up because it wasn't perfect, but a little bit of pep talk. And I was just like, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we're not perfect. We go out there and we try. And do you want to get back there? Are you happy doing this? Are you happy twirling around and blah, blah, blah? You know, so those things. And it was like, okay, well, all it takes is to try. We all fall down, and to really have conversations later about like, you know, even if it's not in the moment or you weren't there when that happened, or it's about to teaching your kids that like, listen, mom and dad aren't perfect either. Like, so if you can find some type of like relatable scenario, like when Blake was been really upset and like not wanting to switch schools and having to meet new friends. And so me trying to get on a level and being like, you know, let me give you a scenario about me and that same thing, like having to leave, having to have new friends, like, so trying to find something where they can relate to let you know that like, man, I got you. Like I've walked through this before. Like, let me relate to you in a way that you can understand, but not in a way to make you think that we are weak in a sense, but that it's okay because we've made it through it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, it's natural and okay to have these feelings.
Yeah.
Obviously you don't want to talk about those more intimate things with like a very young child, but Blake, she's a teenager, and like you can kind of give those scenarios and stuff that you've learned from growing up. One thing is you don't want your child caught up and putting so much weight into receiving the approval of their parent.
Yeah.
You know, a thing that I tell the girls a lot is, you know, there's nothing that you can do, good or bad. There's nothing that you can do to make dad love you any less.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, yeah, but there's nothing that you can do to make me love you anymore. Like, right? I love you this much, and there's nothing that you can do to change that either way. I'm always going to love you this much. And for them just to like realize like, and not worry about, oh, dad's not.
You don't have to prove anything to me, and you don't have, and there's nothing you can do that's going to make me not love you.
Yeah.
You can tell me whatever, and it doesn't matter.
It just gives them confidence.
Yeah. You do not have to achieve the top, because it's not about us achieving the top, you know? Can you strive for it? Can you set goals? Absolutely. But we're not going to love you less because you didn't make a mark, you know?
I mean, just like, you know, this past year, just getting Blake involved, you know, she's loved tennis, and getting her involved in starting, you know, tournament play and tennis and stuff, and entering. Honestly, it's a very scary thing. Like, as a teenager starting your first tournament, you don't know what to expect.
Like, not
you
even
don't know,
school tournament. Like,
you don't know who you're up against and stuff like that. There's going to be kids that are way older than you. There's going to be kids younger than you. It brings anxiety. And just to convey to her walking through it, knowing she's a little bit worked up, knowing she may be uncomfortable with this and putting herself out there, but, you know, just reassuring her through the process of, I am not looking for you to win this tournament.
Yeah. We just
like 100% for you.
We know you want to play.
My only expectation for you out there is to try hard and to get experience. And I don't care how this goes. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be great if you like win a match or something like that. That's great. That's a plus. But if you lose, you know what? That's great too, because you learned something. Yeah. And what are we going to learn from that loss? it's only going to make you get better. It's only going to give you more experience. It's only going to prepare you for the future. Like, we have no expectations going into this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's good. Yeah. So we got a lot of questions about, could we touch base on, give points on stuff on like what we did to kind of like where people start to see like so much change in like Parker, following our story and whatever. So hopefully this was helpful. I know some people told people that we would talk about this on the podcast, and I'm glad we're talking about it now because it'll be a good follow up.
yeah.
I'm sure there's an abundant amount of imperfect parenting advice that we could give, because guess what? We're not perfect.
Yeah.
But we learn and we get to experience a high level of things every single day.
These are the things that worked for us.
Yeah. So we're not giving you like pro tips. We're giving you Busby pro tips, because this is what we've walked through. This is what we've learned. This is how we've dealt, and this is how we got through it. So hopefully, this information that we're sharing can help you all that have been asking, what are tips that you have for kids who struggle with anxiety?
Yeah.
So,
we have,
especially at a young age.
We have 6 kids that, they're very well-rounded and confident kids. And, we get a lot of compliments from other parents, just like how like adjusted they are to like new people and new scenarios and stuff. And so all we can tell them is like, these are the things that we've implemented and we've learned over the years. And, hopefully, you may have heard something that have spoke to you or may have resonated, and take it, own it, steal it from us, and see if it works. But thank you guys for tuning in to episode 39 of More Than Reality podcast. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
All right. We love you guys.